Hello and welcome to episode 140 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and joining me this fine afternoon, about an hour later than he said he would be here, the Cornhusker himself, Mr. Burkum.
Hey, Casey, how's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. I got the number of the episode correct this week.
Oh man, that was so funny last week.
Not even
close. What did you say last week? Like 181 or something?
Not even close. I wonder, like, because normally we have our show notes, right? And at the top I put in what episode number we got. And I wonder if I, like, was listening to something or you know what I mean? Someone said, like 81 while I was typing it, and I just, like, subconsciously... Because, like, I would understand if I had put 141, you know what I mean? Oh, a couple episodes off or something. But yeah, it was nowhere even in the realm of possibility. But yeah.
That's so funny. But yeah, it's not. And now it's episode 140. Well, the funny thing is when I texted you, right? And I'm like, dude, you said it was episode 181. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. Episode 178, 179, whatever it is. I'm like, dude, it's 139.
I'm just thinking ahead, man.
You are thinking ahead. But yeah, I hope if anyone caught that. I wonder if anyone caught that. We didn't get anyone call us out on that. So maybe they just don't listen to you at the beginning anyway.
They might not listen to me at all.
Or maybe they just thought it was episode 181 or whatever.
Yeah,
like, I can't remember what you said.
Yeah, I think it was 181 was the word I went with, or number I should say.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know. It was a weird time, apparently.
Yep. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay, Case.
Everything's going to be all right.
So, we have stuff on the menu today. At the end of this, we have the return of the Craigslist Roundup.
Ooh, you know what? It is actually really funny that you say that. Because when I was going over the show notes, I was like, man, we haven't done... Because, you know, we have the Craigslist down there at the bottom for you to update when you have one. And I was like, come to think of it, we haven't had a Craigslist Roundup in a real long time. And yet, here we are. We're going to have a Jim Dandy.
Yep.
Well, that's good because the news block this week, pretty light. It's like a salad, you know? It's like a side salad. And even at that, it's like one of those really small side salads that are complimentary. Yeah. It's like, well, we're not going to give you a real one. It's like, here's like a few pieces of romaine with some ranch.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's not like a full-on... You ever had a Southwest salad?
I have not. I've seen... So at Walmart, where we do some of our food shopping, they have like pre-made... Or not pre-made. I mean, I guess they are pre-made. But they make them like, I guess, daily, you know? And the Southwest one always does look good. But dude, I'm a Caesar salad man myself, personally.
Dude, you should step out and try Southwest. It's amazing.
Dude, I am really hungry.
Good. Oh, really?
Yep. I got ribs on the menu for dinner tonight, too. Oh.
What? Really?
Wow. Well, ironically enough, we were food shopping at the best grocery store, the Food Line. It's called
Line?
Food Line, Lion. And it's like, it is very much a lion. But they had these ribs, and they looked amazing. And they were priced like $2 for like a half, maybe not a half rack, but a good, like enough for one person for like $2. And then I saw like the same exact ribs next to it for like $6. I'm like, I think they price errored these bad boys. Mm-hmm. So we picked that, or they're like old and terrible, and they're gonna make me sick. But hopefully not, because I am looking forward to them.
Good.
But yeah. But speaking of all this food. I got a quick bite for you, Perry. And that quick bite is actually a quick sip, because I'm going to be talking a little Cuphead here. And
Cuphead.
So essentially, we're playing this for the Patreon Plays podcast over on NWR's Patreon. And, you know, we talked about this a little bit a while ago, but now I've actually put quite a bit of time into it. And I'm up to the penultimate boss, and I plan on finishing it out before we're going to be recording this weekend. So, I've had some more time with it. And in the beginning, it was a little bit to the point where I was like, I like this game, but I don't love it. Yeah. And the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. But only because essentially, right, we were talking about how there are two types of levels, essentially a boss fight or the run and gun levels. I really don't like the run and gun levels that much.
Yeah, they're pretty hard.
I mean, they're hard, but I don't know, they're just like not that fun to me. Like, they're like, of course you're gonna get sort of tripped up, and like that's the whole point of the game, right? Is sort of like you smack your head against it until you sort of, this clicks, and then you could push forward. But I don't know, the running gun levels just not really doing it for me. So whenever I have one of those, I'm like, ugh, like here we go. But the actual bosses themselves, I have been enjoying them. And I just recently started to dive into unlocking some of the additional shots because you can, have two equipped and then switch on the fly. And the one that I got is like a homing missile, and man, it's weaker. It's not as strong as your normal shot. To make to compensate for like the fact that it just you don't really need to aim. Right. But man, it makes a total difference. Especially for some of these bosses that like where you're sort of jumping on different planes of the battlefield, if you will, and like just to be able to hold that button down and be like, well, I'm just gonna hit them like pretty much nonstop, is really beneficial,
I'd say so, yeah.
And like one of the bosses, like, and this was really the driving force. And now I'm blanking on which boss it was, but there was the one, and I was like, you just need it because there's like it was like the honey queen bee or whatever. Like the final phase was she's on the very bottom of the screen and it's vertically scrolling up. So it's like I can't get on her level without like pretty much just either getting hit by her or like hitting the bottom of the screen and losing a life, So it's like, all right, I need to go get this homing missile, and boy howdy, it was a wise investment because not only like did I just one-shot her after that point, but on a lot of other bosses, very beneficial. And there's also some cool ones like the spread shot, which doesn't go as far, but it shoots, like I don't remember how many, maybe 3 or 4 in sort of a cone in front of you. But like one of the bosses, I'd forgotten to switch out of it, and I was like, I'll just try, and I was able to just like absolutely like zerg that boss down real quick because it was just taking tons of damage from the spread shot. But yeah, so I'm on the second to last boss. I am definitely, like I said, the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. There's definitely that level of like, okay, I gotta sort of smack my head here, learn how to, kill this boss, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But with the bosses, like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel too bad to me because, like, for the most part, it's just, hey, each time I'm sort of learning a little bit about it and sort of getting the trick down, if you will. And yeah, I've been having a nice time with it. It's not, not my favorite game of all time and not a game, certainly not for everyone, but yeah, it's definitely, I can understand why people do love it.
Well, all right. And you say penultimate boss.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean the ultimate boss?
Nope, that means the second to last boss.
Ah.
The penultimate is the...
I'm not very familiar with penultimate.
It's a great word.
It is a good word.
Yeah, that's, it's like the second to last.
Gotcha. All right, well, that was a quick bite, but we need to jump into something a little juicier. And you've been you've been a mad reviewing man this last week, haven't you?
Yeah, and it all sort of stacked up. So essentially, I'd been on the docket for the Resident Evil 0 review for quite some time now. Like I think a month or so. I knew eventually when we got the code that I'd be doing the review. But it was a while off, and then this next game sort of, I saw no one was jumping on the train, and I figured, I hadn't reviewed a game in a hot second, so let me snag this one. And of course, they both have an embargo of the same date, and you know how it goes, even when, like, this game, so Lapis X Labyrinth.
Lapis X Labyrinth. Is it? You sure it's Lapis or is it Lapis?
I don't know. I've been saying
I
Lapis.
have no idea. It's a
And
weird
it
name.
might be Lapis Cross Labyrinth, but I always say
Nonetheless.
X, but whatever. But yeah, so this had, actually we got this code quite a while out before embargo, so it was one of those like, oh, I've got tons of time to play this game. And then, of course, a week before, you're like, crap, I need to put some heavy time into this. But,
Yep.
so this is an action RPG game, right? It's 2D side-scrolling, and I'd say it's a platformer as well. You definitely do some good platforming in there. And what's cool is you make a party up of 4 characters. There are 8 classes to choose from, and they all play pretty differently, and it's fun to mix and match them. But essentially how it works is you have one lead member of your party, and then 3 other characters that are out there with you, and they're represented by heads. So your main character is like a full-bodied person, and your 3 other characters are just heads stacked on top of your head. So you move around as one unit, and it's weird. So
That sounds super weird.
yeah, this is a very Japanese anime game, full with the attack noises, and you're doing tons of attacking. So there's tons of just like Japanese yelling throughout. You can turn that down for those who are bothered by that. But how it works is you're out there and you, like I said, you travel as one unit and you're attacking enemies, and you have like a bunch of attacks pretty much in each direction. Your character has an attack with a button, and then you can also call in your friends to come and attack as well. That is not an unlimited option, but it is, it's enough where you can utilize it a lot. Like, you don't need to save that. But it isn't something you can just spam 100% all the time. But what happens is the next person in the stack, so the person closest to the main character on the stack of heads, will jump out and do an attack, and then they will shuffle to the top of the stack. And you can actually change your characters on the fly as well. So, if your main character's low on health, you could jump and change to one of the other characters. Or if you just want a different style of play, you just hit that L button, boom, you switch out. What's cool is they can, you have like an EX bar, and when that fills up, you can actually do an attack that all of them sort of jump in, and they do like a huge, massive attack that just obliterates everything in the screen, which is nice. But what's cool about this game, or crazy depending on, and like I like it, it's very colorful, very hectic.
Yeah.
Are you watching?
I'm watching your review right now.
Yeah, so when you attack enemies, like gems and treasure and gold pops out of them, right? And it's very colorful. Yeah. But what happens is you get into these fevers where, all of a sudden everything's ramped up like tenfold, and then the screen is just literally bursting with color to the point where it's just like you can't even see the enemies you're attacking. You're just seeing all of this gold, all of this these rupees just flying everywhere.
Insane.
Yeah, it is absolutely bonkers. And it's fun. The gameplay is fun. Like I said, the characters are varied enough that it's fun, because like one of the one character, the Destroyer, he's like a big, well, he's not really big, they're all same size, but he carries a giant great sword, right? And his attacks are very slow, but they're devastating, so that they do huge damage, but at the expense of speed. Where there are characters like the Maid, where she is way faster, and she uses a pan, and like she'll bust out a broom and a cutting knife, and her attacks are very fast, yeah. And there's a necromancer, there's the shielder who has like a big shield, and then there's a gunner. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, like a more standard
necromancer.
Mage, if you will, I like the necromancer. She uses
is that not the most like overused like new thing of the past 3 years in games? I feel like the necromancer.
Hey man, I've been playing necromancer since Diablo 2.
There you go.
Way back in 2000, whatever it was, 2000, 2001. But yes, yeah, no, I know what you mean. So yeah, but this game is very over the top craziness. Now the quests are identical, so it's a lot of repetition. You go to the guild, you accept a quest, you go down into the labyrinth, and when you're in there, it's essentially there varies a number. There's a varying number of floors for each quest, but they're usually like 2-3 range, and you go through a floor, which is just like it's just like one big layout, and you're just sort of moving around. Like I said, you'll be doing platforming. What's cool is when you have all 4 of your party members alive, you can get a quadruple jump. And then, if you
quadruple.
Like each head gets a jump. And then it's funny that they like their body falls off or their head falls off, and then you're down to like the 1, but then they regroup. But like, for example, if you do lose a party member, then you're down to 3 jumps. Mm-hmm. But each quest is essentially go in on the floor, you're going around killing enemies, and you're looking for these purple diamonds, and you're just going to collect them. And when you collect a certain amount, it opens up the teleporter to the next level, and there are more than you need, and if you get more, you get more rewards, so you can sort of go through the level trying to find them all. But there is a 5-minute time limit. So, you're going to want to get to that teleporter before the 5 minutes. Now, when the 5 minutes hits, you don't automatically lose or fail the quest, but a Reaper comes out that cannot be killed, and if it touches you, then you fail the quest. And it spawns really close to you, and then, like, when you move, it just respawns really close to you again. So, I've only ran into it, like, once or twice, and it was tough to get away from it. Now, like I said, every quest is essentially the same. You go through that, you go to the next floor, do the same thing, then all of a sudden you face a boss, which is just like, it's just another room with like a ton of monsters, and then like one that has like a boss moniker over it, and it just takes longer for them to kill, and obviously they do some more damage. But, none of them were, that difficult. The further you get in the game, obviously, the harder they're going to get, but you're also getting more powerful, so it sort of counteracts it. Now, the way it works is there's quest levels, and there's 8 quests per level, and then when you finish that, you go on to the next quest level. And like I said, they progressively get more difficult, and each quest level sort of features a new, visually different aesthetic as far as the labyrinth goes. And after these quest levels, you also unlock new shops or buildings in the town. And for instance, you got the exchange, which is where you could go there and you can upgrade some things. You can sort of buy materials and stuff. Then there's like the forgery or the foundry, which lets you sort of upgrade your weapons. And then you got the dojo, which allows you to upgrade your character's base stats.
Like upgrading weapons, like what does that do?
So you can essentially, weapons have slots on them, and you can sort of like get different buffs for them. And I believe you can upgrade just like the base damage with that as well. You could dismantle it for raw loot, raw materials, which then can sort of again be in turn used to upgrade different items.
Okay, so pretty in-depth system there.
Yeah, and now, I mean, this is an action RPG, and it's, like I said, it's very repetitive, but the sort of goal is, it's loot-driven, right? So it's like, hey, get all this, like, loot that you get, and get better with your characters. Now, the problem is, like, a lot of the loot, like, you get tons of it. Tons of items, right? There's weapons, there's armor, there's there's artifacts, and then there's other, which can be like consumables. And there's just a lot of it, but a lot of it is just not as good as what you have. And like you do get upgrades, and like the upgrades, like when you get an upgrade, it's like, heck yeah, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of just like, oh, that's a bunch of crap. And now my lists of items is just stupidly big. And to sell them, you got to sell them one by one, which is sort of a pain in the neck to the point where I was like, and they give you like no gold for it. So I was like, I just, shimmy through this huge list of items. Now with the weapons, it's not so bad because you can sort of just look at the base damage, right? And essentially like, oh, that's worse. And of course, like if you see one, oh, it's only like 3 damage less than mine. Let me see what the perks are. It might be worth it to lose a little bit of damage for, a perk that increases my critical, hit percent by a certain amount or something. But with the artifacts, it's more annoying because it's like there is no base stats. It's all just buffs or debuffs. So it's like to go through it, you need to read, and when there's, I mean, not that reading is a bad thing, but you know what I mean? Like, I got to go menu through here, look at what all the perks are and sort of decide if that's better. And, if you had a handful of them, it might not be so annoying, but when you got like 30 of them to go through, it's like, oi. Now, what is cool is you can't just equip the best items all the time because each item has a certain amount of equip points it takes to equip. So... And as a party, you have a collective number that you're allowed to equip. So it's like you'll have to mix and match and be like, oh, that sword's amazing, but it's a 8 equip point, and I only have 50 equip points. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to use it, but like, is it beneficial? Like, where else am I going to lose these equip points to make up for it? And you can upgrade those as you go on, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, what's cool is like it just essentially adds up all your party members' attack and life into like one big pool, So it's cool to just see that rise up, and then eventually, like I said, you definitely get to the point where it's like, man, now I'm dealing big damage. You know what I mean? Where I felt like I was struggling with that last quest level, but now I've got some new loot. And I upgraded my characters a little bit here and there, and now I feel way more powerful, So it is definitely, it's a fun game. It is very repetitive. Like, I don't think it's going to be something you're going to sit down and want to play for like 6 hours straight. You know what I mean?
Would you say it's like Hyrule Warriors? I mean, it's like that.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Like, yeah, it definitely gave me sort of like the Muso feel where it's like I'm just destroying things. But I would say almost
pretty dang satisfying.
Yeah, it for smaller bites, yeah, it'd be perfect, like, and even for review when I was like, I'm gonna play a whole ton of it. Like, I played it for a couple hours on end at a clip, and I was still having a fun time. It would totally be a great game to be able to like, a movie's on, or the Mets are on and they're sucking again. Let me just play this while I watch in misery. True story. It might have happened. No,
yeah, you kind of pulled that hypothetical out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I wish it was a hypothetical. But yeah, so it is definitely a fun game, and I could see people getting really into the loot and upgrading your characters and really getting knee deep into it. And what's cool is I thought this was a $60 game, and then I found out it's only $30. So it's because I guess when I looked at the store, they had like the collector's edition for $60. So, but yeah, $30 game. Fun, repetitive for sure. And like I said, like getting so much loot that is just trash is sort of annoying at a time. But I guess it makes when you get those good items a little bit better. But yeah, not a bad game. Enjoyable. Like I said, you should definitely go look at. I mean, go watch my review on Nintendo World Report
just do
TV.
that, everyone.
But yeah, I mean, or gameplay. I put gameplay up as well, and just to see, it is definitely a very over the top, crazy game.
Very good. Well, that's a great way to segue into the game I was playing last week.
I
played a game.
You played it. Yeah, hold the phone.
I know. I got a game in the mail that I had ordered from Limited Run Games.
Sounds about right.
Yep. And I opened it and I said, you know what? I'm going to play this right now. It sounds like fun. It doesn't have a high bar of entry. I opened it, put it in my Switch, started playing it, and you know what that game was?
I bet it's tough to say.
Lumines Remastered. Yes. Now, have you ever played one of these games?
I have not.
Okay. So, Ben from the Switch Island, Ben Congleton.
The Congle.
He told me basically on Twitter that I should. He gave me a hard sell for the game, so I was like, okay, I'll get it then. He said you should definitely get it. That's all I have to. You don't tell me twice.
Yeah, sold.
No, I've always been interested in this game, and I knew that like this game has been in physical form before, so I was just thinking it could come physically, and it did. So I got it, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's an incredibly fun game. So it's a puzzle block falling game, I guess is what you call it.
A bluzzle?
Like a block puzzler?
A
Block
bluzzle.
puzzler, maybe? A bluzzle. How do they... Let's see. Beautifully marries the elements of sound, light, and puzzle action into one addictive yet easy to play game. So, yeah, so I thought this game was a rhythm music game, and then with like Tetris, like with the puzzle block form somehow. I mean, it's always been, the music has always been such a huge part of it to me, of people telling me about it, you know. And I've seen like screenshots and stuff, and then there's this thing that's going by that kind of looks like a meter of a metronome, like across the screen constantly. So it looks like a rhythm game when you're looking at gameplay or something. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's not at all. There's nothing to do with rhythm. And it's kind of like it has this like dance techno music ambiance to it.
The ambiance.
And I guess like every time you move around, it'll be like a different percussive sound. So it'll kind of be like you're kind of making the sounds, but it's really nothing to do with the music. The music does provide, like I said, the ambiance that is like really cool. I mean, it really puts you in a groove and stuff, in a very, very zen groove. But yeah, it's not a rhythm game. So if you are stupid like me and thought that's what it was, it's not like that. It's very much like a Tetris game. The idea being that instead of to fill a whole line, you just have to match up 4 into a square of the same color, and then it'll disappear. And then all of the so you'll just be fed blocks from the top like Tetris, but instead of different variations of 4 blocks, it's just different variations of 2 colors in a square of 4 blocks.
Okay.
So they could be either all, and different levels change up the colors, so the game will drastically change like its look while you're playing.
I was gonna say, I see the one is like, because I'm looking at some screens and it was like, it's like white or orange, white and green, and then all of a sudden it's like green, yellow and blue with holes in it, like Swiss cheese.
Exactly. Yeah, those are the screenshots on the back of the game. I'm looking right now. Exactly. And so, like, let's say if it was white and red, it'll have like one of them will be, if you can see right there, like, it'll be just on the top 2 red ones and the bottom 2 white ones, or it'll have 3 of them red, one of them white, or one of them, then all those different combinations. So it's very much like Tetris in the same way, where Tetris is every single variation of what you can do with 4 blocks. That's basically what you can do with 2 colors inside of a block. And then they collapse when they fall down, so they don't stay in one shape, like Tetris does. So if you put them down, they're always going to keep falling.
So you're saying
ground.
if there's like a line of 3 red ones and there's a white one on the top of that, it would, like, the 3 would clear and then that other one would just fall down to the next spot. You mean?
I just mean, yeah, like there's gravity.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's everything, every block. So it's like if.
Oh, okay.
If
so
you,
there's like where Tetris,
block,
you could sort of have that. Like,
exactly.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So like if you took like 2 and you hit one on the edge, the other 2 would fall down
as far as they can go before they hit another block at the bottom.
And that's a huge part. So it's like that's how you can match stuff at the core and stuff. So man, does it become very. I mean, honestly, it's just such a great. I mean, Tetris is such a great thing to reference because it has a lot of the same little cues and little strategies, micro strategies that you can use. I mean, not the same ones, but I mean, it has its own little strategies like in Tetris.
Mm-hmm. It's nuanced.
And Yeah, and yeah, it's something else, man. It is. It's really fun. I really enjoyed it, and it's pretty hard. When I first started it, though, so beware anyone who picks this game up. When I first started it, I started playing it, and I was like, "What is this game?" And I was like, "This is all you do. You just like match 4 blocks into a square." And of course, it's every variation of a block of 4 blocks together. So, let's say you match up, let's say that there's 2 red blocks and then a space and then 2 red blocks, and then you put 2 red blocks in between there, making it 6 red blocks, like 3 by 2.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing would disappear. So it's any variation. It's not just 4. It's obviously 4. It's like 2 by 2 or 2 by 3 or 2 by 4. It's any variation of a square or a rectangle together. You know what I mean? So you can do some huge combos, and then they can be stacked on top of each other. So I recommend watching gameplay because I mean it's not just squares, but that's the basic thing that you need to get. But yeah, I started playing it. I was like, this is it. This is the game. I was like, this is boring. And I was like, this isn't fun. And it's it just kind of seemed, okay, yeah, you just keep going. But then it kind of ramps up. And then the other thing, see here, the cool thing about it is that little marker that I was telling you about. That's kind of like a metronome. That's kind of constantly passing through. I forgot what they call it. There's a word for it, but it's going through. And once it's a line that sweeps across the stage, and it just keeps sweeping across the stage. Going from left to right. Once it hits the very right, it goes back to the left. That you have to wait for that to pass over the things that you have made, the things that you have connected before they'll disappear. So you kind of have some time to chain combos to get a bunch of them together, so that it'll sweep a bunch of them away at the same time.
That probably feels super good.
Oh, yeah. But then where the kicker is that when you get really deep into it, suddenly that marker changes its speed, so it's super slow.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So that works on
Knock
some
you off
good
your block
levels.
a little bit.
Yeah, it works on some good levels because sometimes it's okay, if it's slow, then I can build up a lot of combos. I'll have more time because a lot of time you're trying to race against that thing to get a combo you want before, so then you'll get more points. And the game is point based, so you want to make it through the levels with as many points as you can. So it's a high score game. So that is good for that. But the thing is when your screen is packed and you're almost flowing to the top, which is when you die, just like Tetris. And you're waiting for that thing, the blocks are falling faster than they're clearing. Then it's possible to clear. So you're just trying to wait for the thing to take away all the blocks. And it's really, really hard. And then, so you kind of have to be prepared for that and have your blocks low and stuff, which is your goal. But man, and then the other thing I noticed when playing the game is you can be I am one with the game. I know exactly what I'm doing. Everything's fitting perfectly. You're in a trance, and you feel like a machine. You're and you're doing everything. But that can escape you. It can kind of really throw you off, and then you're like, what am I doing? And then oh no, and then things.
Yeah, you start paying attention to the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's really weird, and so you kind of it's funny. It's happened a few times, and it's I have lost. I cannot think of one thing right now. What am I doing? And then finally it.
You just go full gym.
I get back on. Yeah. So, I just heard a dog shake his little ears.
Yep, he's a shaking.
Super cute. But yeah, so I really like the game. Thanks, Ben, for the recommendation. That was a very nice recommendation. It's such a nice thing to play. I've been playing some block games, like Mud Blocks from the Mutant Muds collection, just because it's a good standby game.
You feel real square lately?
You feel like a real square, yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just want those games you can just play,
I've definitely asked you this before, but I'm blanking right now. Have you played Meteos?
I have not, and I would love to.
Dude,
I know. I'm going to love that game. I need to pick that up for sure.
If you're in a blocky mood, man, Meteos is the best.
Yes.
Let me see. Meteos, $10, $11. Buy it now on eBay. Free shipping. You should just... it might be the cartridge only. But my God, dude, it is so good. I love that game.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dude, yes, I would love to play Medios. Yes, I would love
Because,
to play
yeah,
that.
Medios. Oh, baby. What a great game, man.
Totes.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah.
And that's a
Lumines
Sakurai joint,
Remastered.
too, right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Or you could get Disney Medios.
Yeah. It's probably be easier to find that one. I've not played that game.
I have it, actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I got a Craigslist deal, yeah.
A Craigslist.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how that... I wonder...
I've heard it's crappy.
Is it?
Crappy version. Or it's
Okay.
not as good. Yeah. So I don't want to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't,
I've always wanted to play.
don't taint yourself with that inferior
Medios.
garbage.
Yeah, exactly. That, and I've always wanted to play Polarium, too.
Ooh, I've got
Those
that
are
one,
those,
too.
Those early DS games that I never played. I've always wanted to play those.
Yeah,
But
that was the heat of the... Casey's got expendable income, baby. And he's going to buy up all the DS games.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time to be alive, Perry.
Yep. Now it's impossible to have all those games.
Yeah, there's too many. I was going to say, though, speaking of around that time, actually, let me see. I bet you this next game came out about the same time. It should be around that time. Let's see. Now, I'm doing a quick on the fly here.
Probably is, yeah.
Let's see. Can we get a good, easy Medios release date? I don't know if that's going to be it. Actually, it's before. All right, so Medios came out on March 10th, 2005 in the good old U.S. Nope, that's the Japan release. June 27th, 2005 in good old the U.S. of A. And then this game I'm going to be talking about came out November 12th, 2002, originally for the Nintendo GameCube. But
wait, what? It did?
What? Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry. I was thinking this was... Sorry.
What did you think I was
this
talking about?
I thought it was 4.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Resident Evil 0. I tell you what, the Resident Evil guy, the voice, not as intimidating in this version. Now, I don't know...
Resident Evil.
Yeah, it used to be
Zero.
so... Yeah, Resident
I hate to tell you
Evil.
this now, Casey, but that was me.
Yeah. Oh,
I was the Resident Evil guy.
I wish.
Back when I was 10.
We could have some clout with this podcast. We've got the Resident Evil guy.
Talk Nintendo.
Podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I've been playing some good old Resident Evil 0. This is a prequel to the original Resident Evil, as the Zero name might entail.
And this is for the Switch, of course,
Yep,
right?
I've been playing the Switch version, which just released the day of recording, so a few days ago, if you're listening to this at any point, or potentially much longer ago, depending on when you are listening. But, really, it could be
Thanks
any
for
time.
clarifying that.
But yeah, so Resident Evil 0, a prequel to the original game. In the original game, we sort of see like, Bravo team's plane went down in the Arklay Mountains, and that's sort of like, they don't touch too much on those events. But this game focuses on those exact events, to sort of give you a, open up the curtain, if you will, on the what went down with the Bravo team. Now, what's cool is, your plane goes down, you're like, okay, what's going on here? You find like a crashed cop car, and it's like, and you like read the report, and you're like, all the officers are dead, and it's like, they were transporting a convict, Billy Cohen. So they're like,
That jerk.
yeah, they're like, naturally he did this, like he killed those people and he's escaped. Let's go look for him. So, you go look for him and you find this stopped train and you're like, what the heck? And you get on and all of a sudden there's zombies.
Of course.
And then the train starts moving. And it really is, it's a good opening spot, right? Because, obviously a train, super skinny, right? So you got a lot of tight corridors. It's like an old-time passenger train, too. So, you've got, like, little rooms in there, which only makes the hallways even more, sort of claustrophobic, right?
Right.
And I'd played this game originally back on the GameCube. I played through the train part And then it was just too much for me to handle, you know? I was like, all right, that's it. So, you know, I worked...
because it's too scary.
Yeah, little baby Casey. But yeah, so I worked my, you know, way through there, and then all of a sudden, you know, you meet up with Billy, and at first you're like, you're a convict, like, I'm gonna arrest you. And I should say you're playing as Rebecca Chambers, you know, and she...
That sounds like a meteorologist.
Yeah, Rebecca Chambers.
And now, the weather with Rebecca Chambers. Okay.
Yeah. Instead, she's a rookie police officer, and, yeah, so at first, you know, you're very apprehensive, like, this guy's a convict. He's killed 23 people, you know, like, he's a bad man. But it quickly gets to the point where, you know, he's like, hey, we're gonna have to work together if we want to live, you know, like some funky stuff's going down, like, you know, and at first you're like, blah, blah, you know, I don't need you, and then all of a sudden you go up to, like, this other part of the train, and you're like, blah! And then he comes up and he helps you. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're going to work together. And that is a huge focal point of Resident Evil 0, is that you're traveling as a duo instead of, you know, a solo campaign. You've got a partner to work with.
Revelations 2.
Yes, but this was the first. And what's interesting is you could just switch between the two on the fly. You just single button press, boom, you're controlling the other person, you know? It does like a little like animation. So, you know, it's not like instant, but, you know, it takes a second, but it's not too much. And, you know, it's sort of cool because they're going to have a lot of puzzles where it's like, oh, I need to go with Rebecca to go do this, and Billy's got to stay over here, so you sort of break up the party and you separate ways. And what's interesting is even when you're not on the screen, you can be in danger, and you know you'll get a walkie-talkie call like "Help me!" and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh God, I better switch over," and then you zap to the other person, and then boom, you know you take care of whatever you got to take care of. And it's actually interesting because I'm doing a little history dive on the Resident Evil, and you know, this idea originated with, you know, it was going to be an N64 game before a GameCube game. And, you know, since load times were pretty much non-existent with cartridge-based games, right? The Zap partnering, as they called it, was really simple. Well, I don't want to say simple, but it was, like, really effective, you know, because there was no load times, boom, boom. And then when they had to rework it for GameCube, it reintroduced those load times, so they had to sort of change up how it worked. But bouncing back to the game at hand, I think the puzzles are interesting. Like, there are definitely parts where it's like, hey, you're split up and you got to work together. When you get into, like, the Umbrella training area and further areas in the game, you know, it's like, oh, I'm on the second floor, you're on the first floor, and we're sort of working through the areas together, but I need an item from the first floor. Oh, luckily we've got, like, a little dolly that shoots up to, you know, I could put in my item, send it up to the second floor. Billy can grab it and go do what he's got to do. Oh, he found an item that needs to go down to Rebecca, you know what I mean? So you sort of, you know, mix and match, which is cool. It does sort of take away, you know, like, part of Resident Evil is being alone, right? Isolation, limited resources, scary, you know? And you know, having two people sort of takes away from that. Especially, you know, you can set the AI control character to help you attack. So, you know, if a zombie comes, they'll shoot. Of course, that's at the expense of your ammo, which resources are still definitely limited. This is, you know, it is a true Resident Evil game, you know, so it, you know, you're not going to get showered with, you know, tons and tons of ammunition. But you can also set them to idle so they just follow you. And it's cool if they get in your way, which does definitely happen. You can actually move that character with the right stick without having to switch to them. So a smart move by Capcom, you know what I mean? They probably...
Totally.
Dumb AI keeps getting in the way. But yeah, so, you know, it works well. Like I said, I once you get over, like, okay, I've got two characters, I'm not going to be alone in this. I did, you know, because originally I remember I was like, two characters, you know? It's like, it should just be one. But, you know, I ended up enjoying the puzzles that, you know, revolve around using both of them, you know what I mean? Now, what is sort of annoying is how the items and item management works in this game. So in previous Resident Evil games, you have the item box. And I think anyone who's played a Resident Evil game knows about it. It's like, hey, I can just throw my items in that box, and it's always in the safe room right by my typewriter. And I can access my entire inventory of items no matter what box I'm at. Now, Resident Evil 0 gets rid of the item box and instead allows you to just drop items on the floor and go pick them up later. Now, what's cool about this is I got to this puzzle spot. I've got the freaking item I need for the puzzle, but I've got no space. Do I waste an item, like throw it away? Do I use a health item even though I don't necessarily need it? Do I run back to the item box to clear some space? But in Resident Evil 0, it's like, well, I could just drop this item, leave it right here, pick up what I need, and I can come back for this later. Now, that's cool, right? It's beneficial when it's like, oh, I've got a puzzle that's just like a room away or something. But what's annoying is that space is very limited between the two characters, and it's like the god dang hook shot. It takes up 2 spots, and like you need it to progress on a certain amount of points in the game. So you got to keep lugging this big piece of garbage around, and it's like so annoying. And it's like, oh, I dropped the freaking hook shot like 8 rooms back. Like I got to backtrack to grab this thing. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
Like I personally would prefer to like, all right, I need to run to an item box real quick, but then at least I can get that item whenever I need for the most part later on. Where there are definitely times when it's like, oh, I dropped that whatever it was in that other room, and like, yeah, it would probably be beneficial to go back, but like I don't want to go all the way back over there, like whatever, and
of course,
like, so that's annoying. And especially like, oh, like the shotgun, I love the shotgun, it's really strong and powerful, but it takes up 2 spots, and you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like I wish I could just throw this in my item box because I want to save it for crucial points anyway, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I mean, like, there are definitely pros to this different style, but I definitely prefer the old style. You find yourself in the item, like, in the menus, item, like, management way too much. Like, oh, let me bounce this over to Billy. Oh, actually, I'll put this to Rebecca. Oh, well, I'll drop this and I'll come back for it later, So it is a little bit annoying. That is honestly probably my biggest... the biggest black eye to me is dealing with items like that. Now, what's great is the game looks awesome. You know what I mean? All these classic Resident Evil games with the stationary cameras, it's like they all look great, and you can go back and like they could, like, at the time they were pushing, hardware limitation, like, or I should say they were pushing out games that looked way better than what the hardware could really do, since they're stationary backgrounds,
Right.
With like the 3D models over it kind of thing. Now, what's cool about this, obviously the remaster here has widescreen where the original did not, but what's cool is that you also have a more modern style control scheme. So instead of the tank controls, you've got like, if I'm pointing in a direction with the stick, that's where they're going, you know what I mean? So it's not like you need to like stop, sort of re-aim, move over. Now, they do have the option for the tank controls if you do want to play the original way, but I would suggest playing it with the new control scheme. It just feels more fluid, you know what I mean? It just feels better. Mm-hmm. And anyone who is a more modern gamer who maybe didn't play with tank control, like I know that's like a big knock of going back to the originals, like on the original hardware. It's like, man, these tank controls are brutal,
Right.
So definitely better there. But yeah, what is interesting is that the load times, definitely some load times, which is weird. Like obviously you've got like the classic door opening animation, right? Obviously on the original games, like that was sort of hey, it's a clever way to add suspense while also masking the load times. So it's like, I get they're still there, but like I would have it where the door animation would open and then it'd be like another few seconds of waiting at a black screen, you know. And it's not, they're not egregious, you know. It's not like I was sitting there like, oh my God, you know, throwing my hands up in the air, but they were definitely long enough to be noticeable, you know, and sort of be like, you know, like I sort of wish these were quicker. But overall, it's a true and tried Resident Evil game, you know. It is definitely a classic style, your survival horror game, limited ammunition, you know. I mean, it's not so limited where you can't, oh, I can't shoot one bullet, you know, it's going to be the end of the world, you know. But, you know, your healing resources, your ammunition's definitely limited. It's freaky, you know. There are definitely, like, the atmosphere of the game is absolutely wonderful. Like I said, the train is really cool sort of way to start off, and then you get into the other areas that more resemble, you know, like the mansion and like the old-time buildings with the, oh, I got to go find this key to unlock those doors and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and it definitely has some things that, you know, hold it back from being one of the, like, very best, you know. Like, to me, it is not the best classic Resident Evil game, you know. I still like the Resident Evil 1 and 2 better, but yeah, Zero is still definitely a good game, and if you're into it, it's a good way to play it on the Switch. You could play it on the go. I wouldn't recommend it. To me, Resident Evil is totally, you know, a on the screen, in the dark kind of game. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're sort of expensive. These releases, I believe, are $30 each. So you could definitely get it on different consoles for cheaper. If you are just, you know, looking for a way to play the game, there are definitely cheaper options out there. But
none that you can play docked and then on the go.
No, definitely not. And I think there is some sort of bundle. Yeah, the Resident Evil Origins collection,
that's right,
which includes both Zero and the remake.
Zero.
But you don't get any sort of discount. It's still $60.
Yeah.
But it's physical.
And you have to download one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
Stinks.
It's funny actually, because I remember it was the Resident Evil Pure Evil pack for GameCube, which included both of them.
Oh yeah.
That's how I played him back in the day, and now I'm pretty sure it's super expensive to find that pack. But yeah, Resident Evil. We got a review up on the website, as well as a review for the remake, as well as Resident Evil 4. And if you are a Resident Evil fan and a Nintendo fan, you're getting a healthy dosing of plenty of Resident Evil goodness coming out.
Woohoo! Well, speaking of healthy dosing of Resident Evil, let's take a quick break and come back with the new eShop Roundup LL. eShop Roundup. And we're back with that eShop Roundup. You know the one.
The new one or the XL one?
The both.
The both. Why not both?
The new eShop Roundup.
Yes, so we're going to start off this week with our with last week's winner of our eShop giveaway, which happens to be Mutant Mud's collection.
Very good game. A very good game.
Very good collection of games. And that winner is David Olivetto, which is at Sonic OWODX.
I want to believe it's Sonico WODX. I don't want to believe it's Sonic.
That's what me too, man. Let's just go with Sonico.
If he comes back and says
DX.
it's Sonic, it's revoked. You have won the giveaway.
There's a way to take a game off someone else's system, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case,
deleted your entire
we'll give it
account.
away. We'll give it to someone else. But just kidding, David. But yeah, good. Congrats on winning. And we have a new game for this week. Are you ready for it?
I don't know. I just don't know.
It's this one's sponsored by Ultimate Games, and that they are giving us Chicken Rider. Remember we were talking about chicken games? We were just talking about chicken games the other week, our favorite chickens. This would be one of them. It is right now currently on the eShop for $3.99. You can get it 15% off for $3.39 right now. I don't know if, I assume it's going all the way. But this is a really funny looking runner game, as you can see by chicken. It actually looks really funny. There's one that with just a banner across the screen that says, "You really screwed up," which is just
the Perry
amazing.
Burkum story.
Yeah, yeah. Chicken Rider, the Perry Burkum story. So, to have a chance at winning this game, which I think we had like 30 retweets or something like that in our last one. So
Yeah, it was pretty. And a bunch of new followers. Yeah, very.
yeah. I was
good
gonna
stuff.
say it's not like 1 in a 30 chance is not bad for a competition. So
And if you go over to Instagram, we should say you can get a little extra entry, if you will.
that's right.
We haven't had. I mean, granted, it's only been 2 weeks. We haven't had an Instagram winner yet, but I have a feeling it's going to happen at one point or another. It's bound to, because I'm thinking.
Ooh.
I think I don't know how many likes we got over on there. Maybe 10 to something or another.
Yeah.
So
So everyone go to Instagram.
So maybe total, 1 out of 50 odds right now. It's not too bad. Yeah, 12 people liked it. So that's not too scabby. 12 plus, you got a 1 in 45 chance for a winner. Obviously, we hope that those numbers continue to grow because we want everyone to join in as best they can. But hey, you never know. It's like the New York lottery. You never know.
That's right. And again, this is just our episode post. So go there, retweet for a chance to win Chicken Rider. And we're going to move on with our picks of the week.
Let me see
I should come out with I should probably make a picks of the week since we have different sections of the eShop Roundup now.
I tell you what, though, that was a nice little. You should just whatever you just did, just emulate that into jingle form.
That's what I always do.
I like.
Yeah, I'll do something like that. Okay.
Picks of the week.
I like.
But let's start out with your picks.
All right.
Let's start with your. We should. This is how the
reminder and then
we should do
the diamond in the rough.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say your runner up and then your pick of the week. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Well, my runner up here is more of the reminder territory.
Okay.
It's Castlevania Collection for $19.99. It's got a whole bunch of Castlevania goodness on there, but most importantly, you've got Super Castlevania 4 on there. A beautiful game.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing game. Totally worth playing. I mean, obviously, if you're just interested in just that one game, maybe it's not the best bet to get the whole collection. You could bust out the old 3DS and play it. If you have a new 3DS, you could play it the Super Nintendo Classic on there. Super Castlevania 4, man, is an absolutely wonderful game.
So Redout is out.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't even notice that.
I think that was my shout out last week. Was for the eShop was because we had played that at good old PAX a couple years ago, and how it had come to, and then it disappeared, and then it came
the
back.
guy we talked to that was making the game, Giuseppe, wasn't that his name?
Giuseppe. It might have
Giuseppe.
been. There was definitely a Giuseppe we talked to. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was him. He was super cool, dude.
Super cool.
And the game was super fun. I would be interested in. We should hit him up. Hey, Giuseppe,
should.
remember us?
No.
No, I don't at all. Yeah,
Anyway, Redout's cool. Castlevania Collection is amazing, and only $19.99. I can't believe it. I'll definitely be picking that up.
And
oh baby,
is that one coming
$20?
physical?
Are you kidding me? See, I don't know why it isn't. It should be. It should be coming physically,
Man,
But
I tell you what,
it has
I still
Castlevania,
think back.
Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, Super Castlevania, The Adventure, Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, Bloodlines, Kid Dracula. Look at that. 8 Castlevania games, you know what I mean? For $20, you kidding me? Giddy up, baby.
I still
Anyway.
think back to, man, if Fast RMX was on a cartridge on launch day, how many copies that would have sold, dude? It would have been stupid. Especially if they put it at a $40 price tag. It would have been like, oh, baby. Like, I'll pick up
Yeah.
my Zelda, and then I'll pick up this dope-looking racing game, too. Oh,
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. But
Totally.
anyway, now my pick of the week here, sort of going
Well, hold
along.
on. I didn't do my runner-up.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I got
You
you.
see. You
I
see what I'm
got
saying.
you.
And this is, I got two for reminders, really. Of course, what we talked about before, Resident Evil 4 is out, $29.99. You know, it's a pretty legendary game, and it's cool it's out on Switch. And then doesn't have motion controls.
Yeah, I was going to
sucks.
say, should mention that. But honestly, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Wii version is, like, the definitive version, right? Because those motion controls are money. But I just feel like with the Joy-Cons, it probably would have been like, oh, it works, but not amazingly, you know?
Right.
So I'm not
I'm
upset
thinking
with their
if it
omission,
had, like,
but
the motion like Breath of the Wild, you know what I mean? Like, with the whole unit, like, that'd be kind of cool.
the whole
It's
unit.
Yeah. Not like just like
No, I know
not
what
like
you mean.
Wii.
Yeah, like a gyro.
Yeah.
The gyros, yeah, opposed to the pointer.
My other reminder is in Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is $39.99. It's out. That kind of came out of nowhere, and it's really huge to me because, well, first of all, it's a remastered game of that game. It's a pretty impressive game. I remember playing this on Wii U and like playing it for like 45 minutes and being like, ugh. And then it was my first Assassin's Creed game. I was like, no thanks. Like, this is boring. I don't know why it didn't hook me. And then, but what I'm excited about is that they, of course, are going to be remastering Assassin's Creed 4, which is a phenomenal game. And I can't remember if you've played Assassin's Creed 4.
Assassin's Creed 4, I 100%ed.
That's right. Assassin's Creed Core.
I didn't just play it, I beat the living crap out of it.
It's so good, right? It is so good.
That was like right when the PS4 came out, and that was like very much I'm like, yeah, trophies. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna platinum this mother. And then
Casey.
And then I did everything.
Stupid.
I did
Casey.
everything in the single player, and then there was so many trophies, like not so many, but there were a bunch of trophies like required like crazy multiplayer online ones, and I'm like, I'm never gonna do this. But I did, like I said, I the entire map, like all the checkpoints, like
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really great game.
I wanted to do that.
That was
but anyway,
totally PS4 hype.
I will 100% be picking that game up on Switch when it comes out. 100%. I cannot wait. I might give Assassin's Creed 3 a retry.
Well,
and this does come with that DLC, Liberation DLC.
Well, the beautiful thing is, in a couple months, you're going to be able to get this game for $20 physical, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, it's
And like,
Ubisoft,
and that's
so.
and that's like you know, at that point, you don't feel so bad spending it,
No, you
and
don't.
if you don't play a ton of it, you know, I've never played 3. I know 4 was sort of like the bee's knees as far as Assassin's Creed games go.
Yeah.
I heard Odyssey was pretty dang good too, though. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Hey,
I don't know.
you can play that on Switch. All you gotta do is go to Japan.
Yeah, so weird.
Stream it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess this would be a game I might be interested in. Yeah, for like a $20 price tag.
Yes.
And like I said, you totally know it's gonna get to that point.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Probably like a week from now.
Now you have your game of the week. What's your pick of the week?
Pick of the week here, we've got, sort of riffing off the Resident Evil week, is Dark Wood. This is $14.99. This is a survival horror game without jump
creepy.
scares. It is a top-down game. What's interesting is it's randomly generated maps and events. So each game, each playthrough is different. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they were boasting a crafting kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? System, that's the word. Crafting system and I guess traps and stuff. It looks really interesting, and like I said, I sort of...
it's a top-down game, so it's, you know, and then, you know, you have like your flashlight that you're looking around dark environments and...
Very atmospherically scary and eerie, I guess, with the... Yeah. But yeah, it definitely looks cool, and I was thinking, you know, if like you're thinking, oh, Resident Evil hype, all this survival horror business, but you don't really want to throw down $30 for a Resident Evil game right now, you could throw down $15 for this creepy psychological survival horror game. So
there you go.
Like I said, looks interesting, and there you go. The pick of the week.
And my pick of the week is Sniper Elite V2 Remastered. Another remastered game.
Pew, pew, pew.
This game looks amazing. Just looks like really fun. I took a peek at our footage that we have up on NWR TV of this game, and I was like, this game looks really fun. You're sneaking around when you shoot people with the sniper. It does this amazing like slow-mo thing. It looks awesome. Like you should have you seen it?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah.
You should see, but did you see like when you shoot someone with a sniper, it's like through the air, and like the camera like zooms in, like you see like the X-ray of their skull like shattering and stuff.
Oh, it pulls a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. It looks really fun. It's $35, and it's physical, I think. And I definitely want to pick it up and try it. So it looks fun. I've been kind of missing the shooting game. I'd love to play like a Call of Duty or something like that.
Well, you could pick up Resident Evil 4. One of your picks of the week.
Yeah. Or Sniper Elite.
Yeah. Potato or patata.
Exactly. So, remember, everyone, please, here's another... you can actually, I think you can enter in our iTunes...
Oh, yeah, it'll be there.
In our description. Look at right now on your podcast of choice.
Your device.
You've got your player. And, I think you can click on it right there, and you can enter And so, go ahead and,
Yeah, easy peasy. Follow us, retweet, boom, you got a chance, baby. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
And as they say, you gotta be in it to win it. There you go.
Cool. Okay, so it's time for the news block.
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
It's a light week, boys. It is a light week. And speaking of boys, we've got a game announcement. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons was just recently announced. Two sons.
Okay.
Two sons. This is an adventure game. I guess it is pretty well received. I didn't know much about it. I watched a little trailer. I like the art style. Like I said, it's an adventure game, so it's not necessarily my cup of tea. But visually, it looks really cool. Looks like some really interesting areas that you're exploring. And what's cool is it's got an exclusive 2-player mode for the Switch, which was not in previous editions. And it comes out next week, the 28th, Tuesday the 28th.
Hot darn.
And if you pre-order it, you get 10% off. So let me see. Did they say what the actual price was going to be?
See, that's how they get you. They don't say
it is $14.99.
Oh.
So, boom. Nice.
That ain't not
price.
bad.
And there you have it. And it's 3.9 gigs, so you have to clear some space. So there you go. We also have another game announcement from Konami. Announced that Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution. Whew, what a name. Will be arriving exclusively to the Switch August 20th of this year, 2019, with a price tag of $39.99.
Exclusive, huh?
Now,
that's weird that it's exclusive to the Switch.
Well, yeah, that was sort of why I put it down there. It's not obviously necessarily a game I'm going to be interested in. I don't think it's a game you're going to be interested in, but it is another exclusive.
Can guarantee you it is not a game I'm interested in.
Yeah. I bet you they're probably pretty fun, but yeah, I mean, it's I believe it's a card-based game. But yeah, exclusive to the Switch, and I'm sure there's still a large amount of Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there that are probably pretty stoked about this, so I figured it was newsworthy, and it has nothing to do with the fact that we have a super light news week.
No. Like this Final Fantasy VII update.
Ooh-wee, baby, yeah.
Actually, this is pretty cool.
No, this is real cool.
This is cool.
Yeah, man. So there was a few glitches in the port of Resident Evil 7 to the Switch, and I believe it was present in some other ports too. There was a looping music glitch, so like after each encounter, I guess the music would sort of start from the top instead of like sort of continuation. So it's just like you'd hear a lot of the same bits of music, And then there was also transitions between the cutscenes and gameplay where like a black screen would flash up. They removed and fixed both of those glitches. And that sort of is interesting because a lot of people are like, well, Square Enix doesn't, whatever. They dusted their hands, they released it, boom, boom, like they're not going to go back and fix that. But they did, which is awesome. And it sort of, makes this like the defuncto definitive version,
Yeah, and did David review this for the site?
He sure did.
Didn't he mention this
I'm assuming he sure did. Yeah,
I'm assuming he sure did.
I'm imagining, that was maybe not the.
It sounds really annoying, but it sounds like a really just kind of like not a big deal, but actually kind of a big deal glitch.
I mean, it didn't bother me. Like, whatever.
Oh, that's good.
But I mean, I'm glad it's fixed now because, like I said, first off, it shows that like, hey, it's sort of cool. Square Enix is going back and fixing this for the Switch, and like I said, it sort of makes it the best version out there. You play it on the go.
Heck
It's got the fixed glitches, and it's ready to rock and roll, baby.
Yeah. Giddy up.
Giddy up, giddy up.
All right, so that means that we have a little bit more news here, and that is we just got some numbers. And apparently Mortal Kombat 11 was the best-selling game of April and instantly becomes the second best-selling game of 2019. And it was the best-selling game on all the platforms which it was released, which is PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One.
I bet they're probably pretty stoked about that be the top dog on all the platforms.
Yeah. It's pretty cool because it's the first time since Mario and Rabbids that a third-party game was the top seller on Switch.
For the Switch. And what was cool. That, 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, whatever it was?
Yeah, it was September 2017.
Which is crazy. Now, it's funny because the rest of the year, starting in June, it's like, well, move over, Nintendo's releasing games again. But, no, I mean, first off, again, it shows that Nintendo fans they're hungry for some good quality third-party games, and this just shows you, hey, baby, like you release this day and date, and it's a good version of the game. It's not like gimped and poopy. Like people are gonna buy it. Boom. And like, sure, it's not graphically as nice as the other games. Like, it still looks good. Don't get me wrong, but like, people will forfeit some of that graphical and visual prowess for the portability, man. It's like it is Absolutely. So nice to be able to take your games on the go. And of like there's so many people, especially like if you live in the city or something and you're on public transit all the time, like man, it'd be life-changing like to be able to play like especially like Mortal Kombat's like a very easy pick up and play game, like you know what I mean? You don't need to like be sitting there and concentrating on it. I mean, if you're playing story mode maybe, but like to play matches and stuff like perfect.
Yes, and we have more news, which is the Switch was the best-selling hardware platform of both April as well as year-to-date across both unit and dollar sales.
Woo-wee.
So crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's crazy, too. I mean, we're going to be talking PS5 and Xbox 2, or whatever they decide to name it.
I really hope they call it Xbox.
That would be so amazing.
It really would.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because, I mean, PS4 came out in 2013. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about, because obviously...
Did it really?
Yeah, man. Because it came out in November 2013. Because I remember I had just started my job at
really?
My previous job in October, and I had plans to go up to Buffalo to visit my friend, but I was an idiot and didn't mention it to them because like I had like at my old job I had planned to take off like a couple days, but I was like in that state of like, oh well, I don't want to, like I don't want to, 2 weeks in I'm taking time off, So instead I just like jimmied it and just at 6 o'clock, I drove up to Buffalo, which is an 8-hour drive. But it's funny because it was the day the PS4 came out. So I was like, I didn't pre-order anything. I was like, I'm just gonna go try and buy it. So I woke up that day at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like didn't get a PS4, but I did buy like a bunch of like Target had like a 2 for 3, buy 2 get 1 free sale. So I bought a bunch of PS4 games, and then I worked all day, and then I drove like 8 hours. And I remember I was like, man, I'm an idiot. It was a long day,
Yeah.
But then I got a Sam's Club pre-order, or not pre-order, but order in, and I got my PS4 later that week, or the next
Very
week,
good.
I guess. And it reinvigorated my love of Nintendo, ironically enough.
Yep.
And then I met Perry, and it's all history.
Yep. It's all a mystery history.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more piece of news here. Amiibo, the Super Smash Bros. Series character packs, were the best-selling video game accessory of April.
Doesn't surprise me.
Isn't that crazy?
Amiibo, man. And it's like they've just given up on putting that in games now, too. It's like, whatever. We know people just buy it for the figures, like to have cool little tchotchkes on their desk.
Right. It's weird that they haven't, remember that was a big push for, the Amiibo heyday, that was such a fun collection thing. Remember the Super Mario, the 8-bit one, that had Amiibo, and then they even went as far as to do classic colors and modern colors.
Mm-hmm, yep.
And it was like that gigantic Amiibo. And that came out for Mario Maker. And I remember that the only way you could get the modern colored one at the time was to get the Wii U combo pack.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And people were buying those and then returning them with the classic color pack in it. So bad. Bad people.
Dude, I remember going for Rosalina, I believe. It was Rosalina who was a Target exclusive.
Yes.
And I remember going out and waiting in front of Target for an hour before it opened to get a freaking pre-order for it. It's like, I'm so glad. It was King DDD was the one that broke the camel's back. It was like I didn't find him, and then I was like, you know what? I don't even care. It's like I'm done collecting, and I'm glad. I was glad I got off that boat, man.
It's amazing.
Dude, the Amiibo craze was real, man. I remember,
yeah, it was,
because I ordered half of them when they first came out, because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get the ones that I'm really interested in, And then all of a sudden, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get them all. And then
no, you still got the ones you're interested in. You were just interested in all of them.
Yeah, my interest went from half to all. Yep, yeah, and then I remember, I was like, I had all of the first 3 waves minus the one. And then at that point, I was like, nope, I'm out. My last Amiibo was Cloud.
There you go.
You know what was amazing? I was watching the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer, and Caitlin came over unaware of what I was watching. And she was just like, is that Cloud? And I was like, I was so proud, It was a beautiful moment.
Will you marry me?
Yeah. Just get on and hand her the Cloud Amiibo.
It's like glued to a ring.
Yeah.
The whole Cloud Amiibo.
Yeah, I broke him off the little stand. It's just a cloud ring. Look, yeah, you got everyone with their big fancy diamonds, but do you have a big cloud? No, I don't think so.
And you're like, I'm not kidding. You're gonna wear this at our wedding.
Yeah. Do you see the size of that Buster sword?
Oh, mercy.
Good land.
Well, we're about to wrap up the show with some listener mail.
Listener mail.
Yeah. And this one comes
Let me see your mails.
From King Smurf. Which is amazing. Anyway, you want to read it, Case?
Sure. I listened to all of the Talk Nintendo podcast, and I was thinking, we have Skyrim for the Switch. Couldn't they import Fallout 4 for the Switch also? With the DLCs, I mean, that would bring big interest on the Switch teen adult market. Thanks for reading my thought. Enjoy your day. Yeah, man.
Yes, Fallout 4. When's that happening? You know, I thought that would have been for sure last year, E3. You know, I thought that was for sure coming.
Yeah,
but they haven't talked about it, and I haven't heard anything about it.
I'm sort of surprised. Even like a Fallout 3 would be like, because I believe they already released a remastered Fallout 3 version. So you know what I mean? Let's see. Maybe they haven't. They're saying a potential Fallout 3 remastered teased for possibly 2019. So maybe that's what we see. You know, if they remaster Fallout 3 for all of the systems, like obviously, you know, the Switch would be able to handle Fallout 3, you know, visually. You know, it obviously, like...
Sure.
And scope and
Fallout
size
3
of the
looks
game,
awful.
too.
Have you seen Fallout 3? Have you played it before?
I have
that
not.
is like, it looks like a launch... Like, it looks like a late Xbox game. I mean, it's, you know, it's like a very early HD.
Yeah. But from all... from everything I've heard, people love 3 way more than they love 4.
What?
Yeah,
I
mean,
haven't heard that at all.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think maybe it was more so that like 3 was such a revolutionary game, you know, as far as from 2 to 3. So maybe it was more. We were expecting a bigger jump where Fallout 4 is just more Fallout 3 but more polished. Maybe it's along those lines. But yeah, no, I mean, like, and New Vegas, like, people love them some New Vegas. So I would be curious if, like, a Fallout 3 remastered would include, you know, I would assume it would include New Vegas as well. I would be interested in that. I don't know, I've played Fallout 4 when it came out a little bit, and it's cool. Absolutely, it is a cool game, and, like, the premise is interesting, you know what I mean? Like, you're going around and, like, you're sort of doing your thing, but... I don't know. Open world games, man. There's just too much dang stuff to do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You kind of have to be in that frame of mind, you know?
And you know, it's like, it's tough for us too, because we're always playing so many games, and it's like, if I was sitting there and it's like, Casey, you've got a month and you can only play this game, that might be a situation where it's like, okay, like, you're going to get super into it, you know what I mean? And you could get lost in that world and sort of go do those. And, like, same with the game like Skyrim, where it's like, oh, there's so many quests, and or even, like, The Witcher 3 came out. Like, there's just so much stuff to do.
Jimmy Witchard.
Yeah. I'm the
boss.
That was good timing. But, like, there's just so much stuff to do that it's just that I end up being, well, like, I'm never going to do all this stuff. Like, I'm just going to move on, you know? But he's right. Like, Fallout 4 for the Switch would be huge. I think Fallout 3 on the Switch would be huge as well, especially since, like, again, like we were talking about Mortal Kombat, like, people would, and especially if it's a remaster of 3, it's not like the PS4 and Xbox One versions would, like, look way better or something.
Did I ever tell you my Fallout 3 my experience with Fallout 3?
No, I'd love to hear it.
Well, when Fallout 4 came out, people who, like, pre-ordered it got Fallout 3 for free. And my friend Aaron, he already had it, and so he gave me his code for the Xbox One for Fallout 3. Perfect. I was like, because I really want to, you know, I've always been interested in Fallout. And I started playing it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And, you know, and you're in this bunker and all this stuff. And Liam Neeson is talking, and it's like, this is fun. And it's mysterious and doing all this stuff. And I went through like 45 minutes of gameplay. Something crazy was going on. You know, you gotta get up and leave and stuff. And then I got killed.
You did.
And the whole game I hadn't saved. And for some reason, like the half hour of game of cutscenes and stuff, like, you had to save your game, which it didn't even prompt you to save.
Oh no.
And it was just gone. And it was just like, what? I was like, what's going on here? And I started the game, and it like started like the opening credits of like this, and I was like the opening. I'm like, what? I was like, what what the heck? This is so weird. And I was like, I called Aaron, and I'm like, what is this? Like, he's like, yeah, you have to save. It's that kind of a style of game. I'm like, what? And so I was like, I'm not playing this stupid game.
And that was the end of that.
I was like, I couldn't. I'm like, I'm not going through that super boring. Create your character, listen to these cutscenes, and do all this. And the gameplay wasn't like that crazy or anything. But anyway, that's my experience with Fallout.
Boom. Yeah, well, it's sort of funny, like, this sort of, when I was thinking about, Fallout 4 and stuff, just thinking about other games we'd like to see sort of come to the Switch that we haven't, and I haven't asked you this, so, if you can't think of one on the spot, you're the worst. No, I was just thinking, like, a game that I would love to see come to the Switch is the Tomb Raider reboots.
Oh, yes.
Like, those are games, like, because,
Yes.
From what I understand, like,
really
essentially
cool.
Tomb Raider is sort of like Uncharted, like the same style of game, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But
I think you're
they
right.
look really wonderful, these new guns. And like, I know the one I believe was a PS4 exclusive, or maybe it was an Xbox exclusive.
I think it was and then it came.
Yeah, it was Xbox and then came to
Rise of
PS4,
Tomb
right?
Raider, right?
Yeah, and I know like that murdered its sales. Like they really didn't do well. So it's like, what better time to release it on the Switch? Like,
dude,
you know what I mean?
yes.
People like, I would eat that up, man.
Yes,
like
man.
it looks
Yes.
wonderful. Like I never really played Tomb Raider games back in the day, but like Lara Croft, obviously like a super iconic character in video games. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It would just be really cool, and it would definitely, get people interested. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I would be in on it, and I'm pretty sure there'd be a lot of people who'd be down.
Oh yeah.
Especially like,
oh yeah.
There's not really that style of game on the Switch. Not that I can really think of off the top of my head.
I think that's a fantastic. Yeah, I think that new trilogy would be great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like all three, like the collection would be sweet. But even if they just released them one at
Just
a
the
time,
first
like,
one,
come on, baby.
And then no, you're right.
And like you said, especially for a game that like didn't have great sales, be like, well, it's already done. And of course, I know it's not as easy of just being like, well, voila, it's out on the Switch, But come on, get on it.
I know. Totally.
Are there any games you can? Like I said,
yeah.
I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but that's what we just gonna do.
Wait, what?
I said I know I'm putting you on the spot here. But, like, do you have a game you got that you'd love to see on the Switch?
I mean, it's my standby, right? The Arkham games. I mean, again, another open world game. Dude, but I've been having a hankering to play some Arkham City or Arkham Knight, dude. Oh, my goodness, what a great game. Dude, if Arkham Knight came to Switch, woo-wee, that would be insane.
Be all over,
So,
but the crying for
I
purr.
love those games, dude. I love those games. They're so much fun. I love the action of it and everything, and open worldness, and I love being Batman.
I am Batman. It's actually, I'm sort of surprised too that we haven't seen yet Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, that's weird, right? A game that like won't stop selling.
I know, it's like I listened to the Easy Allies podcast, and like sometimes, and they're just like, who is still buying Grand Theft Auto 5? Like,
I don't get it, man.
Like, it just,
it's weird.
It just keeps on selling. Yeah, it's always in the top, whatever,
No, isn't it like the greatest selling game of all time?
It wouldn't surprise me.
It has to be, right?
But like, I'm trying to think. It came out for PS3 and Xbox 360, so it's like, again, like, and then it was ported over to PS4 and Xbox One. So it's like, come on, like, you can't get that sucker running on the Switch. Now I know, I guess the biggest,
dude, of course,
the biggest thing would be the online, right? I know, like, it has a huge online situation going on, but like, come on, man, like, so much money. Like, like, it's like, oh, I know you're already selling hand over fist, but like, why not sell like another 10 million copy or 5 million copies, whatever it be,
Right. Right. Well, you want to hear the top 6? Well, let's do the top 10 best-selling games.
Of all time?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear them.
This is according to Wikipedia.
And we all know they can't be wrong.
Let's do the top 12 just for fun.
It's got a game you won at 12, huh?
This is weird, actually. The number 12 selling game is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. At 30,260,000.
How many?
30,260,000.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
I guess. Yeah.
A bajillion people owned it,
Yep.
and a Mario game.
Yep. Number 11, New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. 30,800,000. So that beat it out by about 640,000. Or 540,000. Number 10, Wii Sports Resort. Resort, mind you. 33,100,000.
Dang.
Mario Kart Wii, 37,200,000.
Are these all consoles or just Nintendo?
All consoles.
All right, the Wii was popular.
Crazy, right? Then coming in at, what are we at now?
That was 9, right? 12. No, that was
so number 8. Yep, that was 9. Number 8, Super Mario Bros.
the
For
OG.
all platforms. Released September 13th, 1985. 43,170,000. Number 7, Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus. They're combining those together. Dude, Wii Fit has sold more than Super Mario Bros.
That's ridiculous, dude.
43,800,000. I know this is crazy. It's Nintendo stuff after Nintendo stuff, dude. Then after that, we have coming in at number 6, Pokemon Red, Green, Blue, Yellow.
All right.
47,520,000.
Does that include like Leaf Green?
I don't know. It says multi-platform, so it could.
Probably.
Probably. And this is weird. Number 5, Player Unknown Battlegrounds.
Oh, PUBG.
Yeah. No, yeah, I just mean like that's crazy that's number the 5th. 50 million.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep. Number 4, Wii Sports.
Pack in title.
Yep. Doesn't really count, but 82,870,000.
So there were didn't the Wii sell over 100 million, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So there were 20 million suckers out there who didn't get the pack in?
I guess.
Jimmy's.
Number 3. Here it is. Grand Theft Auto 5. 110 million copies.
Dude, that is just bonkers, man. That is so many copies.
Yep. Yeah. And then these last 2 are pretty, because of how multi-platform they are. But number 2, Tetris.
Okay.
So who knows what that counts as, but 170 million copies sold. That was released June 6th, 1984, which happens to be my dog Eleanor's birthday.
She's good pooch.
She's good pooch. And number 1, what do you think it is?
Minecraft.
You got it right, buddy. 176 million.
Boom.
So that was released November 18th, 2011.
Yeah.
So,
no.
but I mean, look at how much freaking Nintendo stuff is there.
I think they got that release date wrong. Because
this is initial release date. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, maybe beta. Because I was maybe the beta or something. Because I was gonna say, remember, didn't we come up with the 10-year anniversary just recently?
Yeah, I'm sure that's because it was like a beta thing for a long time, right? Until it's probably it.
Good old Minecraft.
Crazy, right? All that Nintendo. It's like out of the top 12, really just Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto, and PUBG. Are the, and then you could probably say Tetris too, since that's so. So really, let's take Tetris out. Even though that's a big part.
Yeah,
of
but
Nintendo, everything
it
else
started
is actually
right.
made by Nintendo.
Yeah,
like literally made by Nintendo. Crazy. Then you go to 13, it's Skyrim. 14 is Diablo 3 and Reaper of Souls. 15 Gold.
That's crazy.
Silver
How many
Crystal.
on Diablo 3?
Diablo 3 was 30 million.
I guess too, because that was PS3, PS4, Switch. Yeah, it's on a whole bunch. I know they sold very well on the Switch, and I believe I remember. I can't. I don't remember the exact quote, but something along the lines of that Blizzard and Nintendo were very happy working together. So, Overwatch?
Dude, coming in at number 17, this is something that'll depress you. We Play.
I'm telling you, man.
Play at 28 million.
They'll throw
20,000.
anything up there. I mean, the Wii, man, that's why, I mean, I understand why shovelware was such a thing. It's because everything sold. Like, why wouldn't you just throw things at the wall and hope? Like, the Carnival games, right? Didn't that sell like a bajillion copies? And it's like...
Well, it's not up here, which is weird, but yeah. See, I'm sure it's up here somewhere.
And that released for the Switch.
Oh, man.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, King Smurf, for emailing us.
The Smurf
about
man.
Fallout 4. I think that would be a great thing on Switch. I'm surprised it hasn't been announced already. Maybe just giving it a few time. We got E3 coming up. E3 hype train, baby.
Ooh, man, I can't wait.
Everyone, please email us at tnp@nintendoworldreport.com. We will get to your emails. It's TNP, that's Talk Nintendo Podcast, at nintendoworldreport.com. You can send us, I think there's a link in the description of our podcast. It's super easy to email us. It's fun. We love to hear from people listening. Ask us questions.
Call Perry a big dumb idiot. Whatever you want.
Please. I welcome it. Yeah. A lot of people know that while we are a family-friendly show, that me and Casey actually do record in the nude. So ask us about that. Ask us about whatever you want. It's whatever you want. So that's tnp@nintendoworldreport.com. And before we go, I have, like I promised earlier, the Craigslist Roundup.
Craigslist Roundup.
We have lots of roundups here.
We're from the West.
We should just call email roundup, news roundup, what we've been
The
playing
Roundup Podcast.
Yeah, the
Where we
roundup.
wrangle them up.
Yeah, I have in me. I'm gonna rattle what I got. See that sound?
Did you get a bag of popcorn?
No, I actually got 10 Game Boy games in the nice little plastic cases. 10 Game Boy games, and I'll tell you the price that I paid. I'll have you guess. First up, we have Ren and Stimpy Space Cadet Adventures. Good old Ren and Stimpy. Then we have Super RC Pro Am. There you go. Then we have Turtles 2 Back from the Sewers. Gotta love those Turtles games. Mortal Kombat, the Game Boy version. Of course, the best version, right? Case.
Of course.
And then we have Baseball, the Nintendo game with Mario on it, throwing the pitch. I don't think there's any other Nintendo character on there. But then we have, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Fall of the Foot Clan. This one looks really cool. This is the Punisher, and it says on here, special appearance by Spider-Man. It says that on a pop-up thing on the cartridge. So, and speaking of Spider-Man, we have Spider-Man 2, which looks really cool because it has Carnage on the front. It looks sweet. Spider-Man, man. And then, second to last, we have Castlevania: The Adventure, which we talked about earlier. So I'm gonna play it on the original Game Boy, see how it goes. And then last but not least, Donkey Kong Land 3, baby.
Baby, there it is.
In the yellow cartridge in all its banana cartridge glory. Yes, which, I can't wait to do Donkey Kong Land, one of the most impressive series ever. How they mimic Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy is amazing. I mean, just amazing, They do that. And I think even Cranky Kong says oh yeah, well I bet you can't do it with 8 bits or something like that at the beginning, which is just amazing. And they do it, and it's amazing. I just can't believe how amazing Donkey Kong Land is. And it's different. It's based off the third game, but it's different, It's just crazy. I love it. Different design. But guess how much I paid?
All right, I'm going to say the guy wanted $30.
Okay.
You offered 20, and you guys met at 25.
Well, he actually just posted it, and it said $1. And I was like, is this $1 per game? And he said, yep, and I'm open to offers. And what I should have said was,
I'll give you $1.
$8. But I was like, no. But I was like, I'll buy all your games. He's like, okay. So they're $1 a piece, so it's $10.
Can't beat that, dude.
Which, no, man. I think Donkey Kong Land is worth $10 as it is. So,
I bet you people would pay $1 per case.
Yeah. I'd pay $1 for you, Case.
Oh. I'd charge you $35.
Okay. That's enough.
And on that note.
But yes, that's it. So I got 10. I love Game Boy games. I really love Game Boy games. I love collecting them. I think they're really cool. I love their cartridges.
I love the boxes.
They're all in really
I
good
know
condition, and they all come with the cases, which I really like too.
Honestly, I know the boxes. That's where they start getting super expensive. But there's something. Those cute little square boxes.
I own any Game Boy boxes.
I own. I think Super Mario Land, the original one. I have a feeling it might be a repro. Because it's like unbelievable condition.
Oh, really?
So I have a feeling it might be a reproduction one. But
you've been duped.
Yeah, it's like too pristine. You know what I mean? And then I have a Wario Land, Wario Land 4. That's a Game Boy game, right?
Yeah. Game Boy Advance. Yeah.
No. Then what's the one? 3?
There's Wario Land and 2 and 3 for the Game Boy.
I think.
Or no, 2, and then 3 is for Game Boy Color.
I think I have 3 for Game Boy Color, but the box is like real beat up. And then I think that's it. But yeah, so this has been another episode of the Talk Nintendo podcast.
Yes, it has. Episode 3249.
The best one yet. Now, you can find us, as Perry said, you can email us, tnp@Nintendo World Report. You can find us on Twitter at Talk Nintendo Pod. That's Talk Nintendo
POD.
You can find us on Instagram at Talk Nintendo Podcast. That's Talk Nintendo PODCAST. And yeah, of course, we love hearing from you, as we were saying before. So if you have any questions, we are leading up to E3. Send us in any questions you have E3 related. Send us in some predictions. We'll read them off on the air here, as we're gonna have our predictions episode upcoming.
Start sending in predictions.
We want to hear from you.
Because you want to send it to us, because then when they come true, we'll have the cred, and we can be your.
We can
witness.
give you the shootout, and of
course,
we'll
steal them.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
Boom. And finally, remember our giveaway every single week. Retweet
baby.
Our episode tweet, and you are entered to win. So, on that note, I bid you
party on, Case.
Adieu. Party on, Garth. I mean, Pert. I mean, Barry.
Hey, I played Pert
Cornhusker.
in Words with Friends with Jules. I played the word Pert. I was like, I've heard this as a word, and it means drip.
Drip Burkum.
And then I think we even did put an EX before it. Expert.
There you go.
I
like that. Drip. I'm going to call you Drip. Drip Burkum.
I like it.
That corn is dripping with butter.
Oh, baby.
Mr. Whitchard, I wonder if you have an opening for my son Bobby here.
Well, if you work for Jimmy, you're gonna work hard. People up there are hot and dry. They want someone cold and wet. You do your job, you make money, but you work hard, because that's the way you work if you want to work for Jimmy.
So, if I understand you correctly, you're saying you'll teach my boy the value of $1.
If you work for Jimmy, you're gonna work hard. You make money. The people are hot and dry.
That sounds just fine. This is gonna be a great experience for you, son.
Did you get a bag of popcorn?